Boots against Ortiz.
If Boots get hurt like he did the last time, Ortiz gonna finish him.
Wow.
So he gotta tighten up his defense.
10 steps behind you, right?
He gotta tighten up his defense. He gotta stop exchanging. I know
Vergil is gonna get in the ring with you. You think he wants to fight you at this point? I know y'all had whatever y'all had before, but I mean it's a new day, new division. Like, you here now. So do you think that fight can be made?
I don't know. I hope so. We went all the way down to his fight by ourselves. They ain't pay for nothing. We paid for our own flight, hotel, our own ticket. We went all the way down there to him and Lubin fight. I get all the way in the ring and all that stuff. We arguing back and forth. I'm thinking it's done. I get out the ring. I'm thinking it's done. I wake up the next day. I hear him talking about some Errol Smith's dream fight. I'm like, hey, bro, it just in there. I'm like, what's going on? That's like him coming to my fight. We getting in front of each other, and I'm like, Danny Garcia, my dream fight. Like, right. The fans be going crazy. Like, yo, I don't know, it's crazy. But I thought that fight was done. Hopefully do. If not, whatever, so be it. Like I said, I'm down here. I'm already. This is my second fight at this weight class, and I'm already a unified champion. He's been at this weight class for how long now? So I don't know. So yeah.
Right now, I think Boots will fight anybody at 154. You heard it from him. He said he'll fight anybody. Anybody with a belt. Or anybody that's a top dog. And just speaking of that fight with Vergil, it's going to be like a Stanley Onis type of beatdown.
Terence Crawford has delivered a clear warning to Jaron Boots Ennis ahead of a possible showdown with Vergil Ortiz Jr. He said that if Ennis gets caught and hurt the same way he did against Zayas, Ortiz will not let the opportunity slip away and will finish the fight, unlike Zayas. Crawford explained that Ennis needs to sharpen his defense and avoid getting involved in unnecessary exchanges, adding that although Ennis is quicker and far more explosive than most fighters at his level, he has also shown a habit of becoming careless and choosing to trade punches simply for the sake of fighting.
Tighten up his defense. He got to stop exchanging. I know he's faster than most. He's more explosive than most, but at the same time, he's shown in the past that he can get careless and that he's going out there just to fight, and I don't think when you get higher and higher, that's going to be enough.
Eddie said this would be a massive
fight, you versus him. Crawford referred to a long-running conversation with promoter Eddie Hearn about a potential super fight between himself and Vergil Ortiz Jr., explaining that before his own fight against Canelo, he challenged Hearn to financially back the matchup if he truly believed Ortiz was ready for that level of competition. According to Crawford, Hearn chose not to put his money behind the fight, suggesting he was not fully confident in making the matchup happen despite publicly praising its potential.
Eddie been talking about that for a long time. But the crazy thing about it is I told Eddie, I said, Eddie, this is before Canelo. I said, Eddie, you keep talking about this fight so much. Put your money up. Eddie said, I'm not paying for that fight. I said, why not? You believe in your fighter? I'm not paying for that fight. I said,
Crawford pushed back against that narrative, saying that if Zayas had truly wanted to quit, then his corner should have been the ones to make that decision instead of leaving it entirely up to him. He described Zayas as simply inexperienced, explaining that looking toward your corner during a difficult moment is a natural survival instinct rather than a sign of giving up. Crawford added that he would not label Zayas a quitter, especially considering that he never had to step into the ring and face someone like Ennis in the first place.
I just look at him as inexperienced, like he really just gave his corner the opportunity to do whatever they wanted. That's how I see it.
Okay, meaning when he looked over to them?
Right.
Okay.
But that's what you taught. You taught when you get a knockdown or if you get hurt, look at your corner. So I wouldn't say that he quit because he took the big step in getting in there.
Looking ahead, Jaron Ennis said he wants at least one more fight before the end of the year as he continues his pursuit of becoming the undisputed champion at 154 pounds. He described this stage of his career as a legacy tour, making it clear that his focus is on facing the biggest names and collecting every major title in the division. Ennis identified Sebastian Fundora, Vergil Ortiz Jr., and Josh Kelly as the other title holders at 154 pounds, while expressing hope that a fight with Ortiz could still be made, even though he admitted there remains some uncertainty about whether the matchup will actually happen.
He wants to fight you at this point. I know y'all had whatever y'all had before, but I mean, it's a new day, new division, like you here now. So do you think that fight can be made?
I don't know. I hope so. We went all the way down to his fight by ourselves. They ain't pay for nothing. We paid for our own flight, hotel, our own ticket. We went all the way down there to him and Lubin fight. I get all the way in the ring and all that stuff. We arguing back and forth. I'm thinking it's done. I get out the ring. I'm thinking it's done. I wake up the next day. I hear him talking about some Errol Spence's dream fight. I'm like, hey, bro, it just in there. I'm like, what's going on? That's like him coming to my fight. We getting in front of each other, and I'm like, Danny Garcia, my dream fight. Like, right. The fans be going crazy. Like, yo, I don't know, it's crazy. But I thought that fight was done. Hopefully do. If not, whatever, so be it. Like I said, I'm down here. I'm already. This is my second fight at this weight class, and I'm already a unified champion. He's been at this weight class for how long now? So I don't know. So like I said, I'm here to collect these belts and take over this division. So I ain't doing too much.
On the subject of balancing legacy and finances, Ennis said that money is important because of the financial responsibilities he carries, but being remembered as a fighter who cleaned out multiple weight classes and retired without ever losing means just as much to him. When asked about finding the right balance, he was questioned on how he approaches negotiations while trying to protect both his legacy and his earnings. The question focused on how he avoids sacrificing too much in pursuit of legacy alone, while still making smart business decisions and ensuring he gets properly paid for the biggest fights of his career.
Boots with the legacy thing and then making sure you get your paper and getting your chicken in negotiations. Like, what's the balance between like not giving too much and just being all legacy, but also being a businessman and a guy that's about legacy?
I mean, well, the older I'm getting now, of course it's the money, because I gotta eat. I got family. I got stuff. I got business. I got cribs. I got house. I got stuff going on. So of course it's the money too, but that legacy really important to me as well too, because you gotta stamp yourself. I don't want to be one of those boxers where they forget about you. You feel me? And I want to be one of those boxers where, like, when I retire as an undefeated, legend, I want them to be like then he did everything. He fought everybody. He beat everybody. He moved up multiple weight classes and took over like every division he was at. And I want to leave that mark.
Legendary promoter Bob Arum reflected on Xander Zayas' performance against Jaron Ennis, admitting that he would have preferred to see Zayas gain more experience before stepping into such a dangerous fight. Even so, Arum praised the young champion for embracing the challenge instead of avoiding it and acknowledged the courage it took to face an opponent of Ennis' caliber. He also pointed to the success Zayas enjoyed in several moments of the contest, especially during the third round, saying those flashes of success clearly demonstrated the talent, skill, and potential he possesses for the future.
I think, we would have preferred Xander not to take that fight because he was young and wasn't really ready. But he insisted that he wanted that fight. And it may not turn out so bad. Because as you said, people remember that round where he had Boots in a lot of trouble, the third round.
Discussing a hypothetical showdown between Ennis and Terence Crawford, Arum made it clear that he still considers Crawford one of the most difficult fighters in boxing to solve. He described Crawford as a rare talent who can switch effortlessly between orthodox and southpaw stances without losing any of his effectiveness, making him equally dangerous from either position. According to Arum, that unique ability, combined with Crawford's ring intelligence, timing, and adaptability, continues to make him one of the toughest challenges any fighter could face.
I don't know, Crawford is an awfully good fighter. And, it would take a real wizard to beat him. Crawford has something that no other fighter around has, and people haven't commented on it, and that is he fights equally well as a southpaw or as a right-hander. And so when you train for a fight, usually the fighter he's fighting trains for him as an orthodox fighter, right-handed fighter. And so from the first round on, he'll turn southpaw. and the guy isn't ready for him. That's what beat Spence. Spence trained for the fight like he was fighting an orthodox fighter in Terence, and Terence fought him as a south.
Trainer Brian McIntyre was asked whether Jaron "Boots" Ennis is beginning to usher in his own era of boxing, similar to how Terence Crawford once separated his generation from Floyd Mayweather's. In response, McIntyre acknowledged that Ennis is a great fighter with exceptional talent and the potential to become one of the sport's defining stars. However, he also pointed out that Ennis is not alone in this generation, saying he still shares the spotlight with other elite young champions such as Shakur Stevenson and Naoya Inoue, making this an era defined by several outstanding fighters rather than just one dominant name.
When you say that, I'm just curious because I know Terence, he had his era and he was very complimentary in the sense of like, look, it's like Floyd and me, like, that's never going to happen. And in a case like this is like the Boots era, right? So, I mean, with you who understands multi-divisions, like, do you kind of see Jaron kind of being one of those next guys, if anything, kind of following the footprints of?
I think he have to. I mean, he's a great fighter. He can start his own era like what he's doing now, but he got a lot of guys he got to compete with, like Shakur. He got Inoue. Those guys are young and still fighting, so I ain't gonna really call it the Boots era. I just think he's a great fighter in an era with other guys that can say this was.
McIntyre expanded on the overall landscape at 147 and 154 pounds, naming Vergil Ortiz Jr., Sebastian Fundora, and Jaron "Boots" Ennis as part of a group where every matchup is essentially a 50-50 fight, with no clear favorite until they finally meet in the ring. He explained that each fighter brings a unique set of strengths that makes predicting the outcome extremely difficult. McIntyre pointed out that Ortiz has consistently shown the ability to finish opponents once he hurts them, while Fundora's exceptional height, reach, and relentless style have helped him steadily clear out the division despite suffering an earlier loss in his career.
With that, I know, like, there's the Fundoras and Vergils, like, they all have to fight each other to even come to that conclusion. I mean, is that amongst those guys, is there someone stand out a little bit more, or is it still kind of 50-50 across?
I think it's a 50-50 across the board, because when you look at Vergil and when he get guys hurt, like maybe Boots was hurt, he finished them off. You look at Fundora with the range and the height he got, even though he'd been beat before, since then he's just been cleaning them up. And so we all waiting to see, when those two or three, like the four kings, when they tangle. So we as boxing fans,
Turning to Ennis' victory over Xander Zayas, McIntyre said Ennis had successfully cleared a major hurdle and is now in position for the next big challenge of his career. He explained that defeating a talented young opponent like Zayas was an important step forward and proved that Ennis is ready for even bigger fights. McIntyre then drew a historical comparison, saying the current build-up among the sport's top welterweights reminds him of the era when Marvin Hagler's victory over Tommy Hearns paved the way for the next legendary showdown. He joked that boxing fans are now eagerly waiting to see who will step up next, much like the anticipation that once surrounded future matchups involving Sugar Ray Leonard and Roberto Duran.
Boots, he got over that hurdle, a big hurdle, so it's down for the next one.
For sure.
That's like when Marvin Hagler beat Tommy Hearns.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Okay, all right, he's down there, and now we got Sugar Ray Leonard next, or Roberto Duran next, you know what I'm saying?
Boxing analyst Timothy Bradley Jr. said he believes Sebastian Fundora is one of the few fighters capable of giving Jaron "Boots" Ennis serious problems, but emphasized that this has more to do with Fundora's unique physical attributes than with superior boxing ability. Bradley explained that Fundora's exceptional height, long reach, high punch volume, impressive power, and ability to control distance make him an awkward and extremely difficult opponent for anyone trying to get inside and fight effectively. He added that those natural advantages could allow Fundora to give Boots everything he can handle and potentially make the fight far more competitive than many people expect, even if Bradley is not suggesting that Fundora is the more skilled boxer overall.
Boots and run from his money. He could. And I only say that because of his attributes. Not because of his boxing skills. It's because of his attributes. That's why. This guy has, and it's Sebastian Fundora. You guys know who he is. He's a southpaw too, right? He has range. He has volume. He has punching power as well. Okay? He knows how to keep his distance. He's difficult. I know he's been knocked out before. I know that. But you got to go through a dang rain of fire to be able to get close to this guy if he don't want you to get close. Now, everybody's saying, well, Thurman was supposed to get whooped. I told y'all Thurman was going to get whooped too. Y'all heard it here too. Y'all said he going to get whooped. Okay? But I was studying the film the other day, and Boots has the style that I believe that can give him fits. Because of
Bradley claimed that Sebastian Fundora currently has a full year to satisfy his WBC mandatory obligation, but is choosing not to pursue a fight with Jaron Boots Ennis at this time, suggesting that Fundora's team wants no part of that matchup right now. He also noted that Vergil Ortiz Jr. remains tied up in ongoing litigation, which has complicated plans for future fights. Despite those circumstances, Bradley said the matchup he personally wants to see happen first is Ennis versus Ortiz, believing it would be one of the most exciting and competitive fights that can be made in boxing today.
You see Fundora wanting to fight because he don't have to fight his mandatory. I'm letting y'all know that right now. He got a year to fight his mandatory. An entire year with the WBC, right? And all he has to do is ask the WBC, hey, I want to pursue this bigger venture with Boots Ennis. But as you see, the manager, all right, they don't want it to do anything. They don't want anything to do with Boots. Nothing to do with Boots. And so people saying, well, Boots ain't fighting nobody. Boots ain't fight. So now he wants to fight somebody, right? And nobody wants to fight him. And nobody wants to fight him. So we've heard that Josh Kelly might want to do it because Hearn's got Josh Kelly. Okay, that's might want to do it. Vergil is tied up in litigation. Hopefully he can get his stuff together because that's the fight that I want to see first. I want to see Vergil and Boots first. But if you can't get that, then why is Fundora, hiding and ducking and, the towering inferno? And I got nothing but love and respect for him because that man is from around my way. He's from around my way. He from the valley. I got nothing but respect for Fundora. Okay? But I think what it is that they see the danger in fighting him right now. He's hot right now. Let him cool down.
Bradley contrasted that position with Sebastian Fundora's previous public callouts of Terence Crawford, pointing out that Fundora had repeatedly said he wanted to test himself against the very best fighter available. Bradley argued that, by that same logic, Fundora should now be actively pursuing a fight with Jaron Boots Ennis, whom he considers the most naturally gifted and talented fighter in the division based on the eye test rather than his resume alone. According to Bradley, if Fundora is truly committed to facing the toughest competition, then Ennis should be at the top of his list of potential opponents.
But if he was really about that action, if he was really, Fundora was really about that action, he would tell his managers, nah, I want him. I want him. You remember when Fundora was saying that he wanted Crawford? I want to fight Terence Crawford. I want to fight Terence Crawford. I want to fight Terence Crawford. I kept hearing that from Fundora. He wanted to challenge himself against the best. Well, right now, who's considered, I would say, the best in the division or the most talented? We're not going by resume. We're going by just eye test talent.
Bradley argued that many fighters eventually lose sight of the fans who truly keep the sport alive through ticket sales, pay-per-view purchases, and continued support. Reflecting on his own career, he said he always fought with an aggressive style because he wanted to entertain the audience, even if it meant taking more punishment inside the ring. Bradley explained that giving fans exciting fights was always one of his top priorities, and he believes boxing should operate with that same mindset. In his view, if the sport were being run the right way, Major matchups like Sebastian Fundora versus Jaron Boots Ennis would be made without unnecessary delays because those are the kinds of fights the fans genuinely want to see.
Always forget that the fans, you guys at home, you guys watching, you the ones that's paying for this. Y'all the ones that buy the tickets. Y'all the ones. I was a fighter, I understand that. That's the reason why I fought the way I fought. Tim, you got hit a lot. You got hit a lot. I was short. I had a big head. Yeah, I slipped punches as well. I did get hit quite a bit because I'm being aggressive, because I'm trying to please the fans at home. Okay? So, Fundora, Josh Kelly, all these fights, they should be made. If boxing was a sport, it was a real sport and ran the right way, those fights will be happening. We wouldn't have to wait 10 years, 15.
Shifting to Sebastian Fundora's next scheduled bout, Bradley predicted a comfortable victory for the WBC champion over his upcoming opponent. He described the challenger as a short, stocky, pressure fighter who likes to move forward and carries respectable power, but lacks the technical skills, reach, and overall physical advantages needed to trouble someone like Fundora. Bradley believes the significant difference in height, reach, and style heavily favors Fundora, and he expects those advantages to allow him to take control of the fight before eventually scoring a stoppage victory.
Gonna fight this guy, what's his name? Ermel Hadriba. He's I think he's an Albanian, if I'm not right. If I'm not mistaken, I think he's Albanian. He is. Got some pop on his shots. I was watching him last night. He ain't gonna have anything for Fundora. Nothing at all. Makes a lot of mistakes. Fundora's gonna capitalize on him. He's not that tall. Doesn't have very long arms as well. Very short, stubby, explosive guy. Likes to come forward. But Fundora gonna eat him up. And Fundora gonna stop him when they do fight. But like I said, Fundora, you got a year, bud, to handle that. This guy just won his title not a couple of months ago. 2 months ago. He was like the one of the little mandatory titles holders.
Bradley defended Jaron Boots Ennis against the criticism, arguing that a dominant stoppage victory featuring 3 knockdowns should have erased any remaining doubts about his ability. He said the performance was convincing enough to answer the critics and reinforce Ennis' status as one of the sport's elite fighters. Bradley also praised Xander Zayas for showing tremendous heart and refusing to back down, explaining that once Zayas realized he could not outbox Boots, he made the courageous decision to stand his ground and fight, even though it meant putting himself in greater danger against the bigger, stronger opponent.
You cannot slap somebody on the hand for not being exciting enough, and you can't slap them on the hand for dominating somebody and dropping them 3 damn times and stopping them to become unified champion in a fight that is questioning his whole entire resume. How good is Boots really? You cannot criticize on every side, all right? Now let's talk about Xander Zayas. Xander Zayas choosing to take the fight to Boots. He did right because he tried to box him the first round. People didn't realize that. Boots Ennis was snapping his head with a jab, and Xander Zayas said, you know what? You're not going to slow groove me. We're going to have a fight right now.
Otto Ledipo declared that the biggest fight for Jaron Boots Ennis is not against Sebastian Fundora or Vergil Ortiz Jr., but against Terence Crawford. He said Crawford would likely identify and exploit certain flaws in Boots' game, yet insisted that there is only one real way to settle the debate, and that is for both fighters to step into the ring and face each other. Ledipo expressed hope that the fight could take place at 160 pounds, describing it as the fairest weight for both champions and the ultimate showdown that boxing fans have been waiting to see. As for Boots, he believes a victory in that matchup would firmly establish his place among the very best fighters of his generation.
We know what the super fight is. We know what the super fight is. The super fight isn't Sebastian Fundora. The super fight isn't Vergil Ortiz. The super fight isn't Josh Kelly. There's no one at 160. The super fight is Terence Bud Crawford. That's the super fight. And you know the thing is about Terence, yeah? We know Terence is a killer. Terence would have watched yesterday's fight thinking, I see holes. I see holes and I will capitalize. I'm bigger than you, I'm harder than you, I've got more experience than you, I'm better than you. Well, let's see it. All these things can be said. There's only one way to decide that. Get in the ring. Get in that 22 by 22 foot squared ring with your 10-ounce gloves and let's throw down. And I think Terence is going to. Terence tweeted something along the lines of, almost like, don't tempt me type vibe. And you know what Terence is like. Terence is a street kid. You kind of push that street kid and say it's easy work, as Boots is doing. Terence will make you find out if it is easy work, and it ain't easy work. I hope His Excellency Turkey Al-Sheikh was watching, because he's the one that can make that fight. Both of these guys want to get paid, and he can make that fight, and a fair weight cut.
Robert Garcia urged boxing to make Jaron Boots Ennis versus Vergil Ortiz Jr. the next fight, saying he believes there is no better matchup available in the sport right now. He explained that recent developments have already started moving in the right direction for Ortiz, making the long-awaited showdown more realistic than ever before. Garcia also felt that Ennis' latest performance only added to the growing excitement surrounding the potential clash, predicting it would become one of the best fights of the year. In his view, their aggressive styles, punching power, and willingness to exchange make them a perfect stylistic matchup, and he believes the rivalry has all the ingredients to produce multiple unforgettable battles that boxing fans would never grow tired of watching.
Let's do that fight next. I know Vergil's already, everybody already knows, everybody already hears that things are looking good with Golden Boy, working things out. Plan is to get Vergil before the end of the year. Let's make this fight happen. Let's do it, because it's going to be a great fight. Vergil style, Boots, what Boots just did last night, it just tells the boxing world that it'll be one of the best fights of the year whenever it happens. It's a great fight. These guys could fight 2-3 times, and the fans won't.
Sean Zittel hailed Jaron Boots Ennis' victory over Xander Zayas as an instant classic, praising Boots for his fearless, all-action style and his willingness to take risks every time he steps into the ring. He said Ennis delivered the kind of thrilling performance that reminds fans why boxing remains one of the most exciting sports to watch. Zittel added that Boots consistently brings entertainment, intensity, and excitement whenever he fights, making him a must-watch attraction. He even placed Ennis alongside David Benavidez, Jesse "Bam" Rodriguez, and Naoya Inoue as one of the most entertaining and fan-friendly fighters in boxing today.
Ennis knocks out Xander Zayas with 3 knockdowns and a 7th-round knockout in a classic fight, in a shootout that is going to be one of those fights you could replay 10, 15, 20 years from now, and it'll still be fun to watch. So let's get right into it from the jump. Round 1 happens, and Ennis lands his first 4 or 5 jabs he throws and peppers Xander Zayas. Not a good sign for Zayas right out of the gate. But Ennis, who came out using his jab, being the daredevil he is, being the explosive fighter he is, he decides to make it a fight. And that was impressive tonight by Jaron Ennis, and exciting by Jaron Ennis tonight. And I'll start on that note by saying I think Boots Ennis, David Benavidez, Bam Rodriguez, and Naoya Inoue are the most sensational fighters and spectacular fighters.
So that's everything we have for today's video. We hope you enjoyed the latest boxing updates and analysis. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below and tell us which upcoming fight you're most excited to see. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss our latest boxing news, fight breakdowns, and exclusive updates. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.